What's to, make sure that there's security for no electioneerings? And also, are there any forbidden spaces to where you can't put places into where there are things going on that might influence a person's political opinions, like political movies at a movie theater going on, that type of thing, where they don't put them in at movie malls and cineplexes?
So, to go back to the electioneering question, the same rules that apply for polling places where you're not allowed within 100 feet of polling place will still maintain in a vote center. So there will be boundaries where electioneering cannot happen as we move forward in the vote center model. And I would say that we still maintain the same limitations on the political influences of candidates or parties for the vote center model. So, that's an excellent point that you're thinking of a political movie, but how that might influence or not influence an election may be the case. So that's a good question for us to consider. But we still will maintain the same rules with electioneering. No one will be able to wear or display political paraphernalia that lean one way or another, either party or candidate or measure.
Hi, my name is Nina. I'm with East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. I have a few questions, but my most pressing one is, how are you guys informing the public about these voter centers? I learned about it online. I know my parents don't know how to use the internet and they barely have a computer. So how are you reaching to those communities and those that are non-English speaking?
So when we are thinking about the public outreach when we move towards the March 2020 election, we're kind of taking the Carmageddon approach where everyone will hear about this, be it through TV ads, on the radio, in buzz ads. It will be everywhere to be able to match the public education that is needed. We're actually going to be having a mock election in September of 2019. We're gearing for that date to do an election where we can invite people to experience the vote center model, the new technology in a way that's fun and interactive, and we're going to have that countywide. We're also going to have vote center demo centers all throughout the county as well. We're targeting in December of 2019 through January and February of 2020, so we can actually set up these demo centers and invite members of the public to use the prototype of the ballot marking device or the training ballot marking device to test that technology as well. And so we're really doing our concerted effort to go out in the community and make sure that people are aware of the changes and feel comfortable with the changes. And just so you know too, in the design of the ballot marking devices and all the components of the VSA project, we did a lot of user testing. And I always say, if my 76-year-old dad, who is primarily Spanish speaking, can learn to use this device, and he can barely use a flip phone, let alone any other form of technology, if he can go and use this device, then we really made it accessible to a lot of people. And he actually came to our Norwalk offices and tested a prototype of the BMD and went through the voting process really seamlessly. So we have done user testing with language communities like Spanish speakers, Korean speakers, and Chinese speakers. We've done user testing with voters with disabilities, and they've all been able to use this new accessible equipment. And the way the ballot marking device works is that it really works for anyone, no matter what level of accessibility they are. So if they wanted to use a language where the languages that we have available are English and 12 other languages, and they can choose to go through the voting process in the language of their choice, and actually the paper ballot will print out in that language as well. And if you have a different level of accessibility, like if you are sight impaired, you can use the tactile keypad. If you had other types of issues, you can actually change the settings on the ballot marking device to match the level of comfort that you need to go through the voting process.
What's the turnaround time between when a potential center is suggested and then, if it's been approved?
So our process is that we are going through the grassroots community meetings. This first round ends on January 19th, and we're accepting vote center suggestions through the portal through January 31st. We will then have a second round of community meetings. We're targeting April and May, and that's when we're going to have the same format of the meeting where we're going to have multiple meetings that are geographically based, but to go over potential sites, ones that have been identified and have been ground truths, and then have an opportunity for the community to give their input one more time. Then once we do that, we have to go through an election administration plan with the Secretary of State and submit that for certification. And before we even get to that step, it has to be submitted to the Board of Supervisors for approval. And so through all of these steps, there are public comment periods that members of the public can still give their input. And so the final submission for the EAP, the election administration plan, is December of 2019. I'm following the microphone.
My name is Joey Forsythe, and I'm advocating for student voting across the state. I'm very excited about what you're doing downstream. We're trying to get this happening in some other counties as well. Can I just ask you a question? I'm sort of confused about how counties select whether or not they're doing this. I'm also very curious about just the economics of this. But, like, are these machines available in other counties, and what would be the cost per machine?
So I'll go back to the vote center model. So the state of California, through the California Voters' Choice Act, is how we're moving toward the vote center model. So there was 5 other counties in the state of California that moved toward that model in 2018. But however, and although other counties and all counties in the state of California will move toward this model, LA County is the only county in the nation that's actually moving toward with all of these different components. But what's really great is that we built and designed this system to be publicly owned. So we have the ability to share this with other jurisdictions. I don't know if any of you know this, but LA County is the largest voting jurisdiction in the United States with 5.2+ million registered voters.
Yep.
So if we can make it work in LA County, it can work anywhere in the world.
10 million residents.
Because we designed it in a way that it's shareable, we hope that other counties, when this system is implemented, can also implement it there as well. So that's an excellent question. That we're in the manufacturing stage at this point, so we haven't made the final determination of the cost per machine. But I will say that over the course, the county has made an investment into modernizing the voting model, the voting experience, and we are certainly looking forward to the simplification of all of these processes, which inevitably lead to cost savings. We just don't have those exact figures right now.
Do you have an approximate cost?
Not at the top of my head because we're, like I said,
1,000, 10,000, come on.
we're still in the middle of manufacturing phase, so it's hard for me to say the per unit cost of this.
iPads go from $40 to $2,500, so that's a big variance.
That's what they're going to do.
Believe me.
Hi, my question is, in the past, the polling centers receive a stipend for hosting these elections. Is this going to continue with the voting center, or is it going to be a new model?
Yeah, so just like I mentioned that we're working on the staffing at this time, really I'm telling you, I think there's 3 or 4 meetings a day at the Norwalk headquarters about the staffing and about that stipend, and so we are planning on moving forward with the model where people still receive stipends. We just don't have those exact figures and how that's going to work at this exact moment. Okay. Thanks for the hustle.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
How many precincts are there currently? To put the 1,000 voting centers in some kind of perspective. Sure.
So for a large-scale election, like the November election, there are over 5,000 precincts, 5,000 polling places, but are only open for 1 day. And with the polling place model, people are subject to only going to the polling place that where they live. So a lot of the reasons why we have provisional ballots, and we have provisional ballots in the hundreds of thousands, is because they go to the wrong polling place. And you're only able to go 1 day. So if you imagine, we are going from 5,000 precincts to about 1,000 vote centers for up until the 4-day period. However, it's going to be open for a longer period of time. And because any LA County voter can go to any vote center, it eliminates 90% of the reasons why people need a provisional ballot. Either that, or because they didn't have their vote by mail ballot to surrender. So all of those issues are really are taken care of at the vote center. And just to say as well that the bare minimum of the requirements, I know there was a chart earlier on showing the requirements of the California Voters' Choice Act. Based on that model, LA County is slated to have about 750 vote centers, but we want to go above and beyond that. And so we're targeting the 1,000 vote centers because we want to ensure that people have the ability to vote at a vote center no matter where they are in the county.
So to follow up on the provisional ballots, there'll still be such a thing as a provisional ballot, since understand that everyone's going to get a vote by mail ballot, whether they ask for it or not?
Not until, so per the California Voters' Choice Act, Los Angeles County is not moving toward that vote by mail provision until 2024, I'm sorry. 2024 is when that happens, but we really wanted to make sure that we implemented a vote center model that works for a lot of people, and so we'll see where we are at that time, moving toward that model. And yes, there will be instances for provisional ballots, but the instances will be a lot fewer because of the most common issues will be resolved at a vote center.
Could you speak a little more slowly, please?
Sorry. Yes.
With accessibility being the goal, and progress with multi-factor authentication and SSL encryption, are there any steps being made towards allowing a younger, more technological demographic the ability to use their personal computing device to vote?
So at this time, security and accessibility are the cornerstones of the VSAP project. And so because the internet and personal computer devices are not up to par where we feel that security is utmost standard, we are moving toward a model where people can use accessible technology, but in a way that still produces a paper ballot that's transparent and accountable.
Good.
Okay.
Question for you. I'm sorry, just to follow up, I mean, with government platforms switching to like GCC standards and whatnot, it seems that there is an ability to actually provide the levels of hearing that's required to make voting truly accessible.
I would say in 2019, we're comfortable moving in a model that still produces a paper ballot to ensure for election integrity, and that's able to be a transparent vote where we can track that vote, track the ballots in a way that is accountable.
Hi, Deborah Brockis. My question is, what happens when machines break down? I've worked a lot of elections.
Sure. So because you worked a lot of elections in an old model where we were using antiquated technology and a lot of machines broke down, which really is a motivating factor to move towards this model. So we actually will have fail-safes in place. What's really great about the ballot marking device is that it's a standalone device. It's not connected to an internet connection or to any other ballot marking device. So if one goes down, we have the ability to use other ballot marking devices essentially in the meantime, and then we'll have troubleshooters that will replace those machines throughout either that day or throughout that election period. So we have a vote center model where there's going to be small, medium, and large vote centers, and we're thinking that in a small vote center there will be 25, in a medium 50, and in a large 100, and equal votes to match that number. So there will be the ability for other devices to be used. Also, the ballot marking device has an internal battery, so if the electricity goes down, it can actually work without electricity for a period of time. So we have fail-safes like that in place for ballot marking devices. And let me know if we're okay on time too.
Hi, good morning. I think this is a fantastic effort to gather community feedback, and I think that these voter places could also be leveraged as civic engagement, trusted spaces. And I'm wondering if there's any thought of all the data that you're gathering is such a huge effort, if that data can be used for other civic engagement opportunities. And I think that it's a question for the county, but also for the community as well, of how can we use these spaces not only every 2 years or every 4 years for the elections, but truly create them as trusted spaces for civic engagement.
Yeah, no, that's a really excellent point, and I think that it's in the back of our minds thinking about how to create vote centers that are trusted spaces, especially as people get used to this model. And so I would say it's very much in the back of our minds, and then to try to create a community model around each of the vote centers too have been part of the conversations that we've been doing. And that's kind of, you're going back to why community engagement is so important to the Register Recorder's Office. The way that we even modeled this meeting is that we didn't want to be the ones conveying this message for the purpose of, we really wanted to help and increase and build our relationships with community-based organizations like Arts for LA and the other 18 organizations that are doing these events, because it really instills a public trust that it's not just coming from us, but it's also coming from a trusted community partner. And moving forward, we really want to make sure that we still maintain these relationships to help us spread the word to the community as well. Okay, I have time. I'm being told I have time for one more question.
Okay.
And so just so you know, before I take this question as well, that please, let's go to each of the open house spaces, because we really do want your input and feedback about the vote center model and about those locations that will work best for you. If you do have lingering questions, please raise your hand. My RCC staff, me, and all these other wonderful folks can help answer your questions as well, if we weren't able to get it down.
My name is Laura, and I wanted to, what was going through my mind is how long for the ballot day to confirm that the individual is who or she, who he or she is.
Sure. So at a vote center, when you walk into a vote center, you check in with the check-in clerk using the e-poll books, so that you will give your name and your address. The check-in clerk will find you, and you would do an electronic signature verification. So much the same process as using a paper roster, where you use your signature to verify your identity, but then it's with an electronic signature verification. Then you will receive your ballot that is specific to your precinct. So we're not getting rid of precincts, because you still will receive your ballot type. So if you happen to be in downtown that day, but you live in Culver City, you will receive those Culver City ballots and measures and candidates and contests, and that's what you will mark on the ballot marking device. All right, that was my final question for this portion. All of you for being here, and please go ahead and we're eager and excited to hear your input about all of the vote center locations that we will receive from you today. Thank you.
Okay.